Good evening on this Thursday, the 22nd day of January 2026. You're just in time for Newswatch on Hope TV, the station where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Let us get you informed on the day's events. Now, news just coming in is that the Judicial Service Commission has released the shortlist of nominees for appointment as judges of the Court of Appeal. The list includes Senior Counsel Joseph Katwa Keegan, High Court Judge Chacha Mwita, and former IEBC Chairperson Isaac Hassan. The nominees will now proceed to the next stage of the appointment process in line with the Constitution. And of course, we will be bringing you more on that in our consecutive bulletins. President William Ruto has directed that all learners, including grade 10 students, be allowed to attend school regardless of whether they have paid fees or have uniforms. Speaking at Kinoru Stadium in Meru County, the president said children from financially challenged families should be admitted in their junior secondary school uniforms if necessary. The remarks coincided with the launch of the 168 million shillings Nyota Business Startup Capital Project for over 6,700 young people from Meru, Embu, and Tharaka Nithi counties.
I am directing that no child should remain at home because they do not have school fees. Every child must go to school. Kwa sababu tumetuma pesa bilioni 44 kusomesha watoto wetu. In any case, there is sufficient money for teachers, for our children to be taught in the first term. So every child, wawe na school fees, wasiwe na school fees. Wawe na uniform, wasiwe na uniform. Waende shuleni tomorrow morning. Na mimi nataka nimweleze every chief, kila mtoto apelekwe shuleni. Kama mtoto ako na uniform ya JSS, hiyo uniform ya JSS anaweza kwenda kutumia kwa secondary school, akingojea mzazi wako apate pesa ya kununua uniform ya secondary school. Mtoto wa Kenya asibaki nyumbani kwa sababu ya uniform.
Moving on to court, this High Court has declared the creation of offices for 21 presidential advisors unconstitutional. Justice Bahati Mwamuye ruled that the process used to establish the positions and appoint the advisors was unlawful, rendering all appointments null and void. The court also issued a permanent injunction barring the payment of salaries or benefits to the advisors. Additionally, the respondents have been ordered to conduct a comprehensive audit of all offices created during the period in question and file a progress report with the court within 120 days to ensure compliance with the Constitution and public service regulations. The case was filed by Katiba Institute and lawyer Vincent Lampa Suyeka. Following the judgment, the respondents requested a 30-day stay to allow for handovers, but the court declined the application, stating the ruling will be executed immediately. Still in court, the High Court has declared the merger of the Amani National Congress ANC with the United Democratic Alliance UDA as unconstitutional, stating that the ANC party remains in existence. Justice Bahati Mwamuye on Thursday ruled that the dissolution of ANC and its merger with UDA did not meet the threshold for dissolving and merging political parties as required by the Constitution. Therefore, the process remains invalid. As Vincent Kerosi reports, the latest developments could alter the shape of political coalitions building up to the 2027 elections.
In what appears to be a significant blow to the United Democratic Alliance UDA coalition, the High Court has ruled that the Gazette notice formalizing the merger between UDA and the ANC is unlawful, null and void.
100 billion to the stimulus package
The Amani National Congress ANC, then under the leadership of Musalia Mudavadi, was dissolved on January 17, 2025, to merge with President William Ruto's UDA. The party was formally folded on March 7, 2025, following a national delegates convention that ratified the move. Following the merger, Lamu Governor Issa Timami was appointed as UDA Deputy Party Leader alongside Deputy President Kisure Kindiki. Meanwhile, a Muhaya Member of Parliament Omboko Milemba, who previously served as the ANC Secretary General, was appointed as the SG of the ruling party.
Appreciating and reflecting on the shared and common ideals of the primacy of economic empowerment, peace and development, the United Democratic Alliance Party and the Amani National Congress have today merged as one, known as the United Democratic Alliance Party, that is also going to change name in the branding.
Is the vision of both the parties to bring people together.
However, the move sparked internal friction within ANC circles, eventually leading to a legal battle. Activist and ANC Live member Stephen Mtoro accused Musalia Mudavadi, the registrar of political parties, and other officials of the party of eroding the independence of political parties and violating the rights of citizens to associate freely with parties of their choice. In today's ruling, Justice Bahati Mwamuye termed the special NDC held on February 7, 2025 as illegal and unconstitutional, while nullifying Gazette Notice number 3449 of March 7, 2025, which officialized the dissolution. Justice Mwamuye declared that ANC remains an independent party. He further ordered that all party documents and assets be returned to its offices. Before the contested dissolution, ANC held 8 parliamentary seats won in the 2022 general elections. Vincent Kirosi, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thanks, Vincent. Still on political matters, the committee tasked with overseeing the implementation of the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report is set to begin its public engagement forums across the country on the 2nd of February this year. Addressing the press, the committee chaired by former nominated Senator Agnes Zani vowed to ensure all Kenyans are actively involved in the process of developing the resolutions. This comes a day after President William Ruto assured his commitment to the implementation of the 10-point agenda, which formed the basis of the Memorandum of Understanding between UDA and ODM parties. The report will be presented to the UDA and ODM chief principals on the 7th of March this year.
Beginning next month, we shall move on to a very important part of our work as a committee, and that's the countrywide stakeholder engagements, where we intend to meet Kenyans right in the grassroots to listen to them, because this is an inclusive process and we want everybody to come on board at the various levels to talk about the NADCO report and 10-point agenda and their assessment of its implementation. We'll be able there to exchange ideas and seek the recommendations on the Kenya that we want. These stakeholder forums will be held in all countries' 8 regions, beginning with Mombasa for the coastal counties on Monday, 2nd February 2026.
As you send us the memoranda, it will be very important for you to get to acquaint yourself with the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed by the 2 principals, because that will then inform the engagement that we are going to have. Remember, this is a national process, and we want to encourage everyone to stick to the issues in the MOU, even as you raise your points of concerns and even as you come to the committee to see how best we can shepherd this process together, so that in the end, all of us, because this is a national process for every Kenyan, so that all of us can get to have a nation that we can be proud of.
Over the past couple of days, there's some communication emerging from a section of politicians indicating that this committee is largely idle, unfacilitated, and that nothing to do with the implementation of the 10-point agenda is going on. As Madam Chair has read out our statement, it is clear, you can see, and we are engaging literally all stakeholders because we are supposed to engage extensively stakeholders in the Republic of Kenya, including members of the public. And so we would like to encourage politicians especially, who are part and parcel of stakeholders in the implementation of the 10-point agenda, to be highly spirited about the nationhood and the nationalism that is the spirit of the 10-point agenda, as Mr. Oguda has elucidated.
Now, the National Executive Committee of the Jubilee Party has made a change in the party leadership today after unveiling Jeremiah Kioni as their new second deputy party leader in charge of operations. Speaking at the unveiling, past deputy party leader, that is Fred Matiang'i, said that the move was aimed at strengthening the party structures ahead of the upcoming general elections. Former Narok North Member of Parliament Moitalel Olekenta was announced as his replacement by the NEC meeting that was chaired by former President Uhuru Kenyatta alongside other changes.
As preparations for the 2027 general election begin, the Jubilee Party has made a raft of changes to its leadership structure aimed at revamping it. Top among the changes is the appointment of Jeremiah Kioni as deputy party leader in charge of operations after a decision from the NEC meeting chaired by former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Kioni was serving as the party's Secretary General up until today and has been with the party in the trenches, especially after the 2022 elections when nominated Member of Parliament Sabina Chege and Yala Member of Parliament Kanini Kega attempted a hostile takeover. Matiang'i expressed gratitude to Kioni for his loyalty and looked forward to working with him in his new capacity. Kioni was once caught up in headwinds with party leader Uhuru Kenyatta over his attacks on DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, but that seems to be water under the bridge now. Replacing him is former Narok North MP Moitalel Olekenta, who contested in the Narok gubernatorial election in 2022 unsuccessfully on an ODM ticket.
The NEC decided this morning to approve the proposal and appoint the Honorable Moitalel Olekenta as our new Secretary General. So Honorable Kenta is now our new Secretary General in Jubilee. Mheshimiwa Kenta is not new to Kenyan politics and leadership. He served as a Member of Parliament before, a very solid and highly respected lawyer in this country, very solid and respected political player. We are grateful for the work that Mheshimiwa Kenta has done in the past.
Aside from the two changes, the NEC also appointed former CAS Zach Kinuthia as Deputy Secretary General, Vincent Mogaka as Chairperson, and Kembi Gitura as Director of Elections. The party is also planning to hold engagements with Kenyans every quarter. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Jacob Ochiro.
Much appreciated, Jacob, for that report, which takes us on a short break on Newswatch tonight. Don't go too far. We'll be coming back with much more. Stay with us.
Get ready for an unforgettable worship experience. Every Sunday on Ultimate Worship. Where we bring you live music, powerful praise, and anointed gospel ministers and bands. Join us every Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Everywhere I go, I see you right there.
It's not just music, it's worship unleashed. its ultimate worship.
You're too faithful to fail me.
Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Hi everyone, my name is George Gishoro, a presenter with Hope TV. Thank you so very much for continuing to support us by watching all our programs. Now, we would love to serve you even better. Now, we want to know where you are watching us from and the strength of the signal. You can scan the QR code and ensure that you answer all the questions in ensuring that you are getting us loud and clear with crystal pictures. So go ahead and fill in the QR code so that we can serve you better right here at Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Now, day secondary school students may soon go to school for free. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has assured parents that the proposed free day secondary education program will be fully rolled out by June this year. Speaking in Mombasa, Nyoro said the initiative will be supported through a cost-sharing framework aimed at ensuring sustainability. Nyoro noted that the funds will ease the financial burden on parents, with learners in day secondary schools set to benefit the most.
The national government, and especially the Ministry of Education, to also rearrange their budget and raise an extra 10 billion Kenya shillings. We put that money into a kitty of day school. Kenya requires only 30 billion shillings to make day secondary school education free and totally free, including lunch. And Kenya must start that journey today, not tomorrow. We must never use basic education ever again as a tool anywhere in the election period. The day secondary school and basic education must be made free. And by the way, my goal is for us to have free basic education from term 2 of 2026. Because education, in all economic models, education is the #1 parameter of an economy, for economy to grow. It brings R&D, it brings technology, it brings about skills. We must make this available to all Kenyans. And I can guarantee you, whether I'll be alone as a member of parliament, I will do it and it will happen.
The High Court is set to deliver its ruling on February 19th in a case in which the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) issued regulations prohibiting the use of artistic drawings or graffiti on public service vehicles. This is after artists and matatu operators challenged the regulations, terming them as unfairly targeting the popular Nganya matatu culture.
The future of artistic expression in public transport, especially in Nairobi, now lies in limbo thanks to a case challenging the expression on buses and matatus, whose ruling is set for February 19th. The dispute originates from a petition by matatu operators and graffiti artists filed last year challenging the NTSA regulations and enforcement notice requiring matatus with graffiti, artistic designs, sounds enhancement, or tinted windows to remove the features or face sanctions. The petitioners argued that the directive targets Nganyas and amounts to discrimination against a specific segment of the public transport sector. Appearing before Justice Bahati Momuye, the petitioners submit that the enforcement notice threatens that they describe as Nganya culture.
Moving forward, hizi ni vitu zenye sisi watutaki na tuache hypocrisy. When tourists wanakuja, ndio hata government officials they want to embrace the Nganya culture. Speed alikuja tukasell Nganya culture. Sidhani kama Speed alibambika na kitu kingine other than Nganya. Vile ameenda ndio hiyo operations ishaanza. But I'm glad with the council that we have. Leo tumekuwa hapa kotini, we've been given directions on it. Moving forward, haitufai kukua under the masses of anyone ati akiamka kama ameboeka na tusumbua na disturb the culture.
They told the court that the culture is a contemporary urban expression that combines art, design and performance, and has evolved over time to become a significant source of livelihood for many within the transport and creative industries. The petitioners further argue that the regulations were introduced without adequate stakeholders consultation, violating constitutional principles of public participation. They maintain that artists, matatu operators, and other industry players were not meaningfully engaged before the rules were enforced. NTSA has, however, defended the regulations, insisting that they aimed at improving road safety, order, and compliance within the public transport sector.
The Nganya culture employs a good number of people. We are talking about fabricators, we are talking about entertainers, content creators. It employs a whole industry. Thousands and thousands of people, more than even the government itself is employing. There is no repugnancy in the culture. You have been to court, you have seen, nobody has demonstrated to anybody how an artistically enhanced matatu causes an accident as opposed to a similar model which does not have artistic enhancements.
Justice Bahati Mwamuye has now closed the hearing and is expected to deliver a ruling on February 19th. The decision is expected to determine whether artistic expressions on public service vehicles can coexist with transport safety regulations. Dolly Murigimbuvi for Hope TV.
Thanks, Dolly. Now, former Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba has been appointed Kenya's High Commissioner to Uganda months after his exit from the cabinet. President William Ruto has named Namwamba to the diplomatic post as part of a reshuffle affecting several regional missions. The appointment marks Namwamba's return to government service following last year's cabinet changes. As High Commissioner, Namwamba will serve as Kenya's top diplomat representative to Uganda with a mandate to strengthen bilateral relations, promote trade and investment, and safeguard the interests of Kenyans living and working there. He replaces Ambassador Joash Mangi, who has served in Kampala since 2024. Mangi has been moved to serve as ambassador to Brussels, Belgium, and the European Union. It remains unclear what will happen to Ambassador Bitange Ndemo, who was the previous envoy to Belgium. Kimilili Member of Parliament Didmas Barasa has expressed concern over the poor state of infrastructure in early childhood development education centers across Bungoma County. Speaking to residents of Matumbufu in Kandui constituency, Barasa emphasized that a strong foundation in education must begin at the pre-primary level, noting that quality learning cannot be achieved without proper facilities in ECDE schools.
Kitembea hapa tutabadilisha hizi ECD classrooms from ECDE classrooms to ECDE centers, mahali ya watoto kuchezea, mahali ya watoto kulala, tuwawekee carpet, tuwatengenezee mzuri, ndiye shinde ECDE za private. Watoto wetu wasomee mahali ambapo ni mzuri. Tumeelewana hatujaelewana? Wale wakora walikuwa wakinihangaisha, wanatembea hapa kuwaambia maovu yangu, kuwaambia dhambi zangu. Mimi naambia wale watu waache Mungu afanye kazi yake. Mwenye kujua makosa ya binadamu ni Mwenyezi Mungu peke yake. Mwenye kujua yale wanaume wanafanya usiku ni Mwenyezi Mungu peke yake. Kwa hivyo wangojee siku yenye parapanda italia, sisi wote tupange laini. Na mimi sitasema napeleka watu ya Bungoma mbinguni. Watu ya Bungoma mimi nataka niwapeleke Singapore. Ile ambayo Rais William Ruto anasema niwapeleke Singapore, maisha iko sawa sawa.
A group of anti-corruption activists has launched a 350-kilometer walk to raise public awareness on the effects of corruption in the country. The team, led by Mark Kirwa, was flagged off at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission regional offices in Eldoret and is expected to reach Nairobi within 10 days. Speaking during the launch, EACC Deputy Director Kuntai Oletingisha said the volunteers are championing a zero-tolerance stance on corruption.
May I urge all Kenyans in wherever they are, this country belongs to all of us. Can you join us in fighting corruption together so that we can have a healthy economic nation, so that we can have better business environment, so that we can have transparent employment, so that we can have food security, so that we can have authentic educational system, so that we can have health without any problem in our lifetime. Okay, in this exercise, it is not for targeted number. It is for everyone, be it youth, aging, women, men, even children. Corruption begins with small children. You know, when you send a children and tell a child that, can you run there so that I can give you something, that's a bribery.
From corruption matters, what was once a deadly curse to livestock and a threat to livelihoods has now become an unexpected blessing for pastoralists in Laikipia North Sub-County. Residents who for years battled the spread of the invasive cactus are now transforming the once despised plant into a reliable source of clean energy. The cactus, initially introduced during the colonial era as a live fence, went on to invade grazing lands, choke pasture, and kill livestock that fed on its prickly fruits. But through a project supported by Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, the plant that brought pain is now powering kitchens, improving health, and restoring hope. Glorin Katha with that story.
For more than a decade, pastoralists in parts of Laikipia North struggled to control the fast-spreading cactus using mechanical, chemical, and biological methods, often with little success. The weed colonized hundreds of acres, suppressed pasture growth, and left hunters counting losses as livestock succumbed after feeding in the prickly fruits, taken a dramatic turn with a pilot project launched 2 years ago in Mukrain location within Mayanat's community land is rewriting this narrative. By using simple biogas technology, residents are harvesting the cactus and converting it into clean energy. From just 2 households at the start, the project has grown to benefit more than 30 households, most of which have completely abandoned firewood.
But we needed to address the issue of the women first. So that's why we came up with the issue of, to address the challenge by having biogas. So the initial households we had were only 2. And this was a project whereby we were learning as time goes on. So because there was not so much experience, we wanted to see how will the 2 households perform. So we wanted to know what are really the challenges that they will face in the first year. Now, in the first year, we realized that the main challenge was actually water. And then another challenge was the issue of nutrition, especially for children.
Women have taken the lead in the biogas production process, cutting and feeding the cactus into digesters that produce gas for cooking. The shift has reduced exposure to harmful smoke from firewood, long linked to respiratory illnesses, eye problems, and other health risks. Efficient smokeless cooking has not only improved health outcomes but also saved time previously spent searching for firewood.
Sana hiyo wakati tulikuwa na shida ya vifua, watu wengi wanaumia macho, lakini sasa so far vile tumekuja kupata hiyo biogas, hiyo shida ya macho ya kifua imeisha kwa sasa kwa watoto na pia kwa mama mwenye anapika. Saizi tunatumia hiyo biogas, tumesaidiwa na JKUAT. JKUAT ndio wametusaidia tupate biogas, wakatusaidia sana.
The semi-arid region has in recent years lost dozens of trees, cut down for fire and charcoal, as well as indigenous trees used as livestock fodder during drought, with cactus biogas now filling the energy gap. Pressure on remaining tree cover is easing, offering hope for environmental recovery.
Kama itakuwa itawezekana iwekwe kwa kila boma, iwekwe kwa maybe kwa biogas kama 4 wawe na hiyo mashini, 3 wawe na hiyo mashini, kwa sababu itamaliza matunda kutoka kwa Mayana, itakuwa itapungua kwa sababu tunang'ang'anaka kutoa matunda. Sasa tulitafuta njia yote, kwa batili wengine wanakuja wanatusaidia, tunatoa kwa mkono lakini saa hii wakati tumepata hii biogas tulikuwa tunashukia matunda sana, lakini sasa saa hii tumeanza kupata matumizi yake kwa sababu tunaanza tumia kwa mambo ya kuhakisha biogas, na pia wamama wamepungua na ile gharama kubwa ilikuwa naenda kuni.
With what was once a thorn in the side of pastoralists has become their greatest assets, turning a harmful investive cactus into a source of clean energy, better health, and environmental protection. In Laikipia North, the plant that once symbolized loss is now lighting fires of hope without smoke. Reporting for Newswatch, my name is Glory Nkatha.
At the age of 25 is where there is also another change, because the frontal cortex, this part of the head, the maturity now of the brain happens at that time, which is responsible for intellectual abilities, decision makings, and like the executive area of the brain. Again, it comes with other challenges. Now that I am who I am, you withdraw further from people. Then the other stage that comes in, sometimes it can come early from the age of 35 all the way to 55. Midlife crisis. Midlife crisis. So the man is trying to catch up with the lost time. Unajua anajaribu kuingia kwa hawa vijana because they lost the time, they don't fit. Unapata jamaa anaacha koti avae, lakini wao wamevaa kama
Jiji wao wameacha koti. Are you trying to communicate?
Are you trying to fit? So like, so like they are trying to fit, but as they move closer to this generation, now ina move away. Inasonga, ukikuja inasonga. So then the loneliness increases, and in fact it is that critical stage where, in the field of psychology, we teach the men to begin to prepare themselves for that package of retirement.
Catch past episodes on our YouTube channel at Hope TV Kenya. Men on Record, every Friday at 7 p.m.
Hello there, my name is Beatrice Nudi, a host on Hope at Dawn with George Gishuru. Thank you so very much for your support and your loyal viewership. How is the signal in your area? We would love to know. Please do scan the QR code that you see on your screen so that we can know how to serve you better.
Welcome back. In business, Agriculture and Livestock Development Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has announced major government interventions aimed at boosting agricultural exports, set to be anchored in the Finance Bill 2026, which will be tabled in Parliament in March. Speaking in Naivasha during the launch of Flamingo Group Investments Expansion Project, Kagwe said the reforms will ease cash flow pressures on exporters by reducing taxes, removing export-related levies, fast-tracking VAT refunds, and expanding air freight capacity. The government has moved to allay fears of a possible rise in sugar prices following recent economic indicators released by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. The Kenya Sugar Board says there is no cause for alarm, assuring Kenyans that the country's sugar supply remains stable despite a challenging production cycle that began in 2025 and extended into early 2026. According to industry data, sugar production declined last year due to a combination of dry weather, factory rehabilitation, and ongoing reforms in the sector. However, authorities maintain that these measures were necessary to secure the long-term sustainability of the industry. With millions of tons of cane already in the ground, a strong recovery in sugar output is expected from late 2026 as officials reassure consumers that sugar will remain available and prices stable. It is a wrap on Newswatch tonight. On behalf of the whole team, that has worked tirelessly to make this bulletin a success. Thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Have a good night.